Since 1934, Iowa's farmers have turned to the Iowa Farm Bureau spokesman as their trusted news source. Now, the Spokesman Speaks. Listen in and hear from leading experts on topics important to farmers and agriculture. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to our August 8th edition of the Spokesman Speaks podcast. I'm Andrew Wheeler, and in today's episode, you'll meet Dr. Jason Ross, the new chair of Iowa State University's Animal Science Department. And after you hear from Dr. Ross, you'll get a preview of the games, prizes, and other opportunities available when you stop by Farm Bureau Park during the upcoming Iowa State Fair. We'll start with Dr. Jason Ross, who was named ISU's new Animal Science Department chair in June and begin serving in that role later this month. Spokesman reporter Corey Munson has the story.
Congratulations on the new role, Dr. Ross, and thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Corey.
Can we start out by having you tell us a little bit about your background? Did you grow up in agriculture?
Yeah, so I'm actually an Iowan. I've been in Iowa my whole life. I was born near Grinnell, Iowa, to parents that were farming at the time, and so I started out growing up on a farm. And in the mid-'80s, when I was in my childhood, my folks moved over to the Coralville, North Liberty area, so I spent the rest of my childhood and time at home then, and that's really when I came to Iowa State University in 1996. And it was really during my undergraduate program in animal science that I got involved with some pork producers and started working with some brothers out of State Center and really got more involved in not only their hog operation but also in one of their feedlots as well, and just became even more passionate about what I was doing, and then kind of came the time to think about what I wanted to do after my undergraduate degree, and that's when I started thinking about graduate school and really looked at a few different places and settled at Oklahoma State University. And my wife and I moved down there right after our graduation and started graduate school. So I spent just under 6 years there doing both my master's and PhD degrees at Oklahoma State. And then I spent 2 years at the University of Missouri as a postdoctoral fellow. And the timing was just perfect when I was ready to start looking for jobs, a position that I felt like was ideal for me at Iowa State University, and also in the ideal location that we wanted to live and raise our family here in Ames, Iowa was available. And I was very fortunate at the time to get an interview, and even more fortunate to get a job offer. So that's how I got back here.
Since joining the faculty here at Iowa State in 2008, can you kind of tell us a little bit about what your main focus has been?
Sure. So my focus has been in really all, at different times, different pieces of the land grant mission. So when I started out in 2008, I had both a teaching and a research appointment, and I taught graduate level courses. I taught an undergraduate reproduction lab, contributed to a few other courses, and I also got my research program launched out of the department beginning in 2008. And my research was really focused around reproduction in pigs and swine reproduction efficiency, and it was initially very molecular, a very basic science approach that I was using. And as my program got going, got more feet under it, and started taking off, and more students in the lab, and increasing engagement with the industry, and working on a variety of different topics, I really ended up having a program that was, in some regards, very basic science, and also in some aspects, very applied sciences. And it's one of the things I really loved about my work, is having students work in both of those areas, with the emphasis being on swine reproduction and biotechnology. Then the opportunity came up in 2015 to apply as the Iowa Pork Industry Center director, and so I was fortunate enough to be able to take over then for the Pork Center, and that changed my responsibilities a bit. And as I took on that administrative appointment, I had to give up my teaching and advising responsibilities in the department. I still continued to teach, guest lectures, etc., through the department, but my formal teaching appointment ended at that time. And that's really when I really got to work a lot more in the extension effort for Iowa State University through the Pork Center. So I got to work with the swine extension field specialists and develop a lot of new relationships, both within the industry but also within Iowa State University and across departments in the College of Ag, but also in the College of Veterinary Medicine and College of Engineering as well. So that's been just a pleasure to be able to expand my efforts. And I wouldn't have been able to start out working in all three mission areas when I first got here. So it's been great to do that over the last 14 years.
So kind of looking at that history then, how do you think all these experiences, both growing up on a farm, having these opportunities at Iowa State, have really prepared you to take over as department chair?
Yeah, I think just having a passion for animal agriculture in Iowa is really what all my early life events provided me. And I do have a passion for animal agriculture in Iowa. And I have a passion for animals in general. And that's kind of how I ended up in animal sciences to begin with. Yep. And so, and then having the opportunity throughout my graduate training, my undergraduate, graduate training, and my years as a faculty member in this department, just participating in both applied and basic sciences and research, contributing to the advising and undergraduate and graduate teaching, contributing to the extension mission, just those different roles over that 14 years within Iowa State University and within the working with the stakeholders in Iowa, I think has been valuable to me to have those perspectives, to have those experiences that I can bring to the table and hopefully bring the value from each of those to serve the department well and also to serve our stakeholders and students well.
Can you kind of fill us in a little bit about what your vision for this department would be?
When I think about the animal science department at Iowa State University, I think we are very uniquely positioned to be the leading animal science department in the country, particularly when it comes to serving animal agriculture in Iowa and the United States. And I think it's important when we project forward and we think about the programs at Iowa State University in this department that we reflect Iowa agriculture, we reflect animal agriculture in Iowa, also recognizing that there's many students from Iowa and beyond our borders that come to Iowa with a companion animal interest as well. And we give those students a great education as well. And we also have seen that many students that come into our department that didn't have a background in animal agriculture go on to have careers in animal agriculture and be influencers in animal agriculture in the future. And I really think that's important long-term for agriculture in Iowa and across the globe, is to take those that didn't know they had that passion for animals and feeding the world and to help them find that when they're here and create those opportunities, because I think the future of animal agriculture depends on that. And so that's part of the vision. And I think, really when we think about how we're going to have our impact, the impact of our department will be through students and stakeholders. And so it'll be through our students by what they go on to do after they leave here, whether that's an undergraduate student or graduate student. But those that come through our training programs, what they go on to do with their life and their career is a big part of how we have our impact. And the other way we have our impact is through our stakeholder interactions and what they do with the information that we produce here, not only what they do with hiring our students, but also how they utilize the research knowledge and information that we create through our research programs at Iowa State University.
What are some of the career paths for students who are considering a animal science degree? Where can they take this?
Yeah, lots of different places. Many times they have an idea of what they want to do, and they don't quite have the breadth, and they don't understand, all the opportunities that are out there. So the big one that a lot of students come in that they know they can do with an animal science degree is to go on to veterinary medicine, right? So we have many students that come in that are pre-veterinary medicine, and many of those do go on to apply for veterinary schools and get in and become excellent veterinarians. Many of those also come in and they start realizing that there's also many other things that maybe they didn't learn until they got here and got into our freshman level courses where we talk about the careers and opportunities in animal science. And some of those can be going on to professional schools. In addition to veterinary medicine, there's graduate schools and other professional activities that, to become scientists, become researchers. There's opportunities to go into production itself, working with either companies that are in production or to take the information and knowledge that you gain as a student here back to your family farm or back to your family business and help take that into the next century or the next generation. There's opportunities to work in allied industry. We have many, many students that leave our department that work for companies that are partners in animal agriculture, whether that's a feed company or a veterinary company, a pharmaceutical company. And so there's all kinds of opportunities that having that base level science-based knowledge and education in animal agriculture and the science-based production knowledge that our students leave with that prepare them to go on and have all kinds of careers, and also many in the companion animal industries as well. That's a growing opportunity for careers outside of veterinary medicine as well, and we have students that are taking jobs in that arena as well.
Well, kind of to that point, it seems to me, just kind of watching the development of this industry, that the science portion of animal science, it just continues to grow every year. It makes it a very exciting and dynamic degree to kind of be in. So how is your department changing to address needs of the present as well as the future?
Industries are all evolved in different ways, and so trying to be responsive and understand where industries are at right now and where different industries will be 5 and 10 years from now requires a pretty dynamic portfolio of faculty programs and where they place their emphasis in research, and also how we place our emphasis on what we teach students. And so, where we see things changing for animal agriculture, I think is just understanding the more of the science around sustainability of production animal agriculture. And I think that's a piece that we've done quite well in. This department for sure has done an exceptional job in improving production animal efficiency, and production efficiency is arguably one of the greatest influencers of sustainability. By definition, you're reducing your inputs and maximizing your outputs, and that's a key component to sustainability. But that's an issue that we continue to think about, and what's sustainability look like for Iowa and for agriculture in the next decade, and that's where we base some of our priorities and discussion around. When we talk about animal sciences, it's also becoming more of a precision animal sciences, and the utilization of biotechnology and technology as a whole to really refine much of what we know and actually redefine much of what we thought we knew by using improved technologies to better understand animal physiology, to better understand the genetic contributions to specific phenotypes that animals express. All of those components, and animal behavior and animal welfare, those are all pieces of how we can continue utilizing emerging and newer technologies to enhance the sciences that we have right now to continue making progress for agriculture. So I think precision livestock technologies is an area that will continue to emerge and that we'll be part of.
Now, I think you kind of hinted at this, but as you're looking out at the future, what are some of the biggest challenges facing animal agriculture going forward?
I think one of them, as I mentioned, Corey, is the issue around sustainability, because part of that is because it's so broadly defined by very many different people, right? And different people define that in different ways. And so part of it is making sure that where we can bring knowledge and information to the table to help provide science-based information and science-based solutions is really where we can play an important role. But I do think that's one of the areas in animal agriculture that is growing in scrutiny and will continue to grow in scrutiny. And so we just want to make sure that we're out in front thinking about those things, thinking about where the science will be, what are the questions that people are going to have, so that we can start developing research-based answers for those questions to enable our stakeholders to thrive and enable a competitive advantage for our students that come through our programs and for those that are working with us.
Now, do you have anything you wanted to convey to either the Farm Bureau membership or just the public at large about yourself, about your department? Just kind of share your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the opportunity to be here, Corey. The timing for animal agriculture in general, what animal agriculture does for the state of Iowa it's a remarkable part of Iowa's role in the global picture. We feed the world in a big way, and we are a state that has natural resources that enables us to do that, maybe better than most places in the world. We can be leaders in food animal production and in protein production, and we are, and that's an area that we need to maintain global leadership in. And so there's no better place to be if you want to be a leader and have an organization that is leading in food animal production on a global scale than right here in Ames, Iowa, in the epicenter of animal agriculture. We just have a lot to offer as a state. I would say the other thing that really drew me to this position is just how engaged our state and stakeholders are with our department. They want to be a part of it. We want our stakeholders to be a part of it as well. And part of our future and that connection, that the ability to have that conversation between our industry stakeholders and our department and what we do is really valuable. It gives us guidance, perspective on how we need to set our priorities. And so that's something I think is, kind of unique maybe when you think about academic departments at universities in general. That connection to those who we work for is really strong here, and I appreciate that about this position.
Well, and I think you're right. You know as well as I do, farmers love to help out.
That's
So,
right.
I guess the last question I got for you today is, how can Iowa farmers, what can they do to be supportive of your work, of the students here, and how can we make sure you succeed into the future?
Yeah, there's a lot of things there. I think when you think about Iowa and Iowa State University being a land grant university, some of those things are just fostering young people in your communities in animal agriculture, right? Encouraging young people, in the profession, right? In animal sciences and farming and ranching, encouraging young people in that, in veterinary medicine, right? So that they then have that desire, that interest, maybe to pursue a degree at Iowa State University. Then there's also partnering with them locally too, and helping them achieve the means to get here, and sending them on their way. I know there's communities all over the state of Iowa that help support kids from their communities with scholarships to go to college, and I think that's an exceptional way to support your universities. The other excellent way for stakeholders and producers and the public throughout the state is really to use our extension services, right? We have faculty in the animal science department that are have extension appointments. We have extension field specialists all throughout the state that are part of the College of Agriculture and that are connected very well with the Department of Animal Science. And I would say use them as a resource, use them as a conduit to faculty programs and resources within Iowa State University. That's an excellent way to stay connected and know what's going on in our department and in our university. And reach out, right, and be part of the commodity group organizations that are fitting for our stakeholders. I would say be engaged, be part of those groups, because those groups and the leaderships of those organizations are connected to our department and Iowa State University as well. So it's a way to get more integrated into the future of not only the Department of Animal Science, but the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences as well.
Congrats to Dr. Ross on his new role. When animal agriculture thrives, so does our entire state. And obviously, the animal science work being done at Iowa State is a big part of that. It was good to hear about Dr. Ross's strong livestock background, and we're looking forward to seeing how he leads ISU's animal science department moving forward. If you happen to need a reminder of just how much livestock means to Iowa, look no further than the Iowa State Fair, which begins later this week. As usual, Farm Bureau will be right in the middle of the action. And there are so many reasons to come see us at Farm Bureau Park, which is right next to the Varied Industries building, just off the Grand Concourse. For more on that, Farm Bureau's Caitlin Lamb spoke with Evelyn George, who heads up Farm Bureau Park at the Iowa State Fair.
So Evelyn, every year at the Iowa State Fair, we have a central theme happening in Farm Bureau Park. The last couple of years, we've celebrated nutrient-packed, real meat, dairy, and egg products that we know our farmers are proud to raise with animal and environmental care in mind. And then prior to that, we've showcased many byproducts that come from commodities grown in our state that people wouldn't normally think about, like crayons being made from soybeans, or even, pigs helping to create insulation that keeps our homes comfortable. And I think a lot of people were surprised by many of those. So what is this year's central theme?
This year we chose United We Farm. We really felt like the world seems more divided than ever, but farmers are not. Farmers collaborate and they really work toward common goals. So what you'll see throughout the park is how we're united in caring and working for the animals that we raise, because we feed those, to our own families as well as neighbors and friends and other consumers. We're united in conservation. We continue to invest in conservation practices that help protect Iowa's soil and water. We also are united in innovation. Farmers have adopted precision ag technology, and they support uses of crop and livestock byproducts that you just mentioned, as they're developed and commercialized in many surprising ways. And then we are also united in how we grow. We know we have fewer farm families than in the past. So our members always seek ways to become more efficient so that they continue to produce the food and diversify their ag operations to grow specialty crops and livestock as consumers change in what they want.
United We Farm. I really like that. It's definitely a reflection of our farming membership and all the goals that they have for their family farms, both now and for future generations. And as our Iowa Farm Bureau members come to visit the Iowa State Fair, why should they make sure that they dip on over to our park? There's always a member gift. But there's so many other reasons to come see us, right?
Yes. First of all, we do reward all those members who do come to visit us. We have a member gift, and we always keep it a surprise that they'll find out once they get here. That's our way of thanking them for their membership and the way that they support Iowa agriculture. And again, this year, like last year, we're asking our members just to bring their membership card or the address label from their Spokesman or Family Living publication. It'll have the barcode that we can scan, and that automatically confirms their membership. And then it also gets them in the second big reason to make sure they stop at our park, which is to get in the drawing to win the big member prize. This year it is a $5,000 prize package, and that prize package is $2,500 in fuel and $2,500 in food.
$5,000, that's huge. That'll be a great prize for some very lucky Farm Bureau member.
They will be, and others will be jealous.
As they should be. So what if you're not a member? Are there any other fun promotions or giveaways at Farm Bureau Park?
Oh, absolutely. We have a lot more going on in the park, but I will say there is not a better time to join Iowa Farm Bureau than during the Iowa State Fair. First of all, if you're not a member, or if you know someone like a relative, a neighbor, or friend that you know should be a member, they will each get a $10 Fairway gift card. So each new member who signs up will get a $5 discount immediately, but they also have a special prize drawing. And that's limited to just that precious few that sign up during the fair. And that prize package is valued at $1,000. That is a $500 in food plus $500 in fuel, which we just talked about would be very well received. Everyone who comes to Farm Bureau Park is invited to play the Farm Strong Challenge and to meet some Iowa farmers. The Farm Strong Challenge is a tabletop game to test your ag IQ, and everyone who plays has their choice of a fun prize. So you can compete with your friends or your family, and everyone will be a winner.
And I know our farming members who are there interacting with fairgoers really love answering questions about what they do on the farm. So for those of you who are listening who might be in that tent that day, thank you so much for connecting with consumers. We really appreciate it. And what else do we have going on? It looks like Farm Bureau Financial Services may have a fun promotion as well.
You bet. You will definitely want to stop and visit the Farm Bureau Financial Services tent. They will have a daily drawing for a chance to win $500 to help fund your retirement or college savings account. And yes, you can actually enter this contest every day that you attend the fair. Plus, when you visit their booth, you can also pick your path of adventure on the financial journey board. They'll have options like, will you start a business or will you write a bestseller? You can check it out, and their tent will be in the southeast corner of Farm Bureau Park, open daily from 9 to 5.
I've also heard we have a kind of unique experience coming to Farm Bureau Park focused on seatbelt safety. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. Interesting fact here. Did you know that more Americans die on rural roads than on congested urban highways?
Oh, that's not a good statistic to hear.
That's a sad fact. We didn't until recently, and so we're excited to have the Iowa Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau and their local law enforcement partners joining us in Farm Bureau Park this year. So they have what they call a seat belt convincer. So visitors can buckle up and experience a 5 to 10 mile per hour vehicle collision simulation. And the goal is really to help everyone realize that buckling up is so important. It's really the best defense we have against impaired and distracted drivers. And we're thankful that Farm Bureau Financial Services has been partnering with the Iowa Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau and was able to bring them in. And they will also be in the park every day between 9 and 5.
You had sent me a demonstration video of the collision simulator, and yeah, it's a much harder impact than you would think, even at that lower speed. And I know I told you that some people who I will not name that I know don't necessarily wear seatbelts regularly on gravel roads, so I'm going to be directing them over to the south end of Farm Bureau Park to be checking that out for sure.
I think it is going to be such a valuable lesson for so many.
I think so too. And can you tell me more about some of the other partnering organizations and the free health screenings we'll also be hosting?
Yes. We're excited to have the return of our daily health screenings. We have a variety of our health partners who've agreed to join us this year and provide those free health screenings and education. You'll find free blood pressure, glaucoma, hearing, and balance screenings on different days in the park. On Farm Bureau Day, Health Gauge, and many of you know them by their previous name, Stroke Detection Plus, they will be doing peripheral arterial disease screenings. That is, taking blood pressures on each leg and each arm to detect if there's any potential plaque buildup that reduces blood flow to those limbs. And this is a very limited number of participants on Farm Bureau Day. So if you would like this, you need to get to the park early and get signed up. The second Saturday, which is August 20th, John Stoddard Cancer Center will be back. They will have some doctors that will be doing head, neck, and skin cancer screenings, which I know are also very valuable for our members and farmers that are outdoors so much of the time. Oh, and I do want to tell you, we have a new partner who's coming in as well. That's the Iowa chapter of the Red Cross. They are going to offer training on a new hands-only CPR method the first weekend of the fair, so the first Saturday and Sunday, and then again on Thursday, August 18th. So this obviously has been revised since our COVID experience. Just be sure to read your spokesman insert on the state fair or go to iowafarmbureau.com to get the full schedule of health screenings and when and they'll be held and at what times.
And those are all super valuable. And you talked about the skin cancer screenings with farmers being outdoors so often. And I mean, I'm hearing more and more about people taking the time to go get checked out, which is really great because I know not all of you are wearing sunscreen every time.
And when we were younger, we didn't know perhaps as much as we know now. And it's very treatable when it's caught early.
Yes, absolutely. And so while we have something happening every day at the Iowa State Fair, there are a few days in particular where we really draw in some really nice crowds. So first, let's chat about the first Saturday of the fair.
The first Saturday of the fair, our young farmer group takes over the park, and they add some more kid-focused activities, which really draw in families with young children. And they're incented to play all the games and go through all the exercises because they get their passport stamped 3 times when they visit the machinery match game. There's an activity where they will germinate a seed, and a third activity where they answer some questions and get a chance to do the barnyard boot. So they get their card stamped and they'll win a cinch bag that says, I met a farmer today, so they can tell others about their experience in Farm Bureau Park.
That'll be awesome. I know I always love seeing the photos of the young farmers interacting with the kids because obviously agriculture is something that our farmers are super passionate about, and you can see that kind of being built up into those young children as they're learning and they're being able to ask questions. Definitely, I would say, a memorable experience. And I mean, it's something for parents to come do that doesn't cost anything, which is not common at the fair. So a great experience all around.
And we know those adults are learning along with their kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have, we're generations removed from the farm in most families. So yeah, it's a great way to to educate adults and kids.
Absolutely. And of course, the first Tuesday of the fair, or as it's better known, Farm Bureau Day at the Iowa State Fair, is a really big day for us and dozens of backyard chefs.
Absolutely. It starts bright and early. I think they start, actually, we have the Farm Bureau Cook-Off contest. And that, I think they start rolling in at midnight and setting up their grills and starting to prepare their foods, their meats for the competition. And we have a lot of our own Farm Bureau staff involved in that process as well.
Yeah, I've already seen on Facebook the individual counties who have held their local cookout contests. So their winners will go to the state fair competition, and just looking at, I swear that the dishes get more creative every single year. Ways of preparation I've never heard of. Last year I remember someone had made their own smoker, actually, and was using that. So, yes, enthusiasts, and it seems to draw in so many people.
Right, and they even have the youth division, so you can see these young kids that are, definitely cooking more than I am. Some members of the USS Iowa will be celebrity judges again this year. This is crew members of one of the Navy's newest nuclear-powered submarines, and some of them were in our park last year as well. They so enjoyed meeting Iowans and learning more about our great state that they wanted to come back. So crew members will be available. If you're not coming on Farm Bureau Day, you'll still be able to meet them the first Sunday through Tuesday between noon and 5 when they'll be in our park. And they'll also be back on the last Saturday, August 20th, from 9 to 4. So you have a chance to talk with them about their experiences and what they'll be doing.
It was neat seeing them as celebrity judges for the cookout contest last year, especially because they're wearing all white, and somehow they didn't manage to get any type of barbecue on their uniforms, which, I don't even wear anything white because something is going to happen. So and that was impressive to me.
And certainly not at the Iowa State Fair, you're wearing white.
Yeah.
On Farm Bureau Day, we'll also have CSIF, that's the Coalition to Support Iowa Farmers, in the park, so that if you're thinking about starting or expanding a livestock operation, you'll have a chance to talk with those experts who can guide you through the neighbor relations issues as well as the unbelievable number of rules and regulations for livestock farms. We are really looking forward to this year's state fair and having a chance to talk with our members again and so many other fairgoers.
Plenty to do. We're excited to see you at Farm Bureau Park. For complete details on our daily fair activities, click the link that's in the notes for this podcast episode or head out to iowafarmbureau.com. That's all for this episode of the Spokesman Speaks podcast. We hope you found it insightful and that you'll join us for our next one on August 22nd. Thank you for doing the work that inspires everything we do here at the Iowa Farm Bureau, and thanks for listening to the Spokesman Speaks.
Thank you for listening to the Spokesman Speaks, a podcast by Iowa Farm Bureau. Check out more podcast episodes at iowafarmbureau.com/podcast. You can also find and subscribe to the Spokesman Speaks podcast in the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and other popular podcast apps. We appreciate your ratings and reviews, and we welcome you to email us your feedback at podcast@ifbf.org.